Toni Lamond and Patti McGrath, Talk to Him from Mr. Wonderful.
'Cause I know a way to make the guy go your way. Come here. Talk to him. Tell him that he's grand. Tell him how you planned your life with him in mind. Talk to him. Tell him how you crave, how you'll even slave for him if he's inclined. Tell him you'll give all you got. He'll marry you on the spot. I'm very sure, but if not, hit him.
Hit him?
Yeah, hit him! Smash him! Bell him! Bash him! Slug him! Slash him! Bang him in the head! Maul him! Mob him! Slug him! Mob him! Bang him in the eye! Crack him in the teeth! Murder him! Mangle him! Fracture him! Strangle him! But first, talk to him.
Oh, I've tried to talk to him, Toni, but I haven't even gotten to first base.
Oh, getting to first base isn't important, Patti. The important thing is to get home. Home. That gives me an idea. Cook for him. Make his eyes a shine. Pour a little wine for him by candle glow.
I'll cook for him.
You'll cook for him. Cook a fancy dish.
Open up some fishy swaz and watch him go.
That's it.
Steak that is juicy and thick. Cake and champagne for a kick.
Oh, I can see it now, but what if that won't turn the trick?
I'll slug him. Right! Slug him, toss him, bang him, melt him, shoot him, stab him, push him in a cliff, rock him, fall him, down him, hit him.
Yeah!
Hit him with an axe. Bury him alive. Poison him, smother him, butcher him, murder him.
But first, before you cook for him or even make love, make sure you talk to him.
Well done. The Channel 9 Singers presented How Do You Raise a Barn, and Toni Lamond and Patti McGrath sang a big Broadway success, Talk to Him from Mr. Wonderful. Talking about the United States of America, we have a very charming girl for you to meet tonight. Her name is June Byers, and she's here in Australia for a little while, and I want you to make her feel welcome the way we always do it in Australia. June, I consider that you have, of all the women I've met in Melbourne Tonight, I would say that you have the most unusual occupation of all of them. What do you do for a living?
Graham, I am the world's champion lady wrestler.
A lady wrestler?
You know, in the United States, being a wrestler is not a unique thing here for a woman as it is in Australia. But the fact that I am the world's champion is the uniqueness of my profession.
When did you get interested in wrestling?
When I was 7 years old.
Really?
Well, you see, I'm from a large family. There are 13 children in my family, and I had to sort of out of self-defense.
To get something to eat, June had to wrestle. No. How many women wrestlers are there in the United States?
Well, right at the time being, I would say there are about 125 American lady wrestlers, and then there are lady wrestlers that have come to the United States from Germany and France and England.
Nice.
And Canada.
And is it big business in America?
Oh, yes, it is. You put the word lady wrestler or girl wrestlers on a card, and the promoter is assured of a packed house that night.
I see. And why have you come to Australia, June?
I've heard a lot about the country, and I've always wanted to see it, kangaroos and everything, you know. And then I have some friends that have come to the state from Australia, and they were such lovely people, and they've invited me here. I am not here to wrestle. I would love to wrestle. I would love to be the one to have the first lady wrestling match in Australia. But I don't think there are any lady wrestlers here.
I don't think so. June, you're married to Sam Menaker, aren't you?
Yes.
Who is a former champion himself?
Yes, and he also instructed at the YMCA in New York City, and then he was an impresario of wrestling. And he's here, by the way, doing championship wrestling on Channel 9.
On Channel 9, yes. I think a lot of our viewers would know Sam already. June, the holds in female wrestling, are they similar? Are they exactly the same as male wrestling?
In the States, they're governed by exactly the same rules, and the only difference between lady wrestling and men wrestling is the fact that women lose their temper a little bit more quickly than a man would.
Are they more temperamental in the ring?
Yes, they are. But you see, I learned that the more I learned to control my temper, the more money I made, and that was one of my aims in the profession, because, as I told you, I am from the farm, and I wanted to help my mother, and I walked down Main Street and I saw furs and diamonds, and I wanted a few for myself. And then because I had a proclivity toward wrestling, and I love the sport, and that's another reason I'm taking a postman's holiday, you might say, here because the champion is here, and actually wherever the champion goes, all the best wrestlers in the world will go. So that's why another reason I'm here. June,
what are some of the holds you do? I don't know much about any kind of wrestling. Name some of the holds you do.
There's a headlock and a hammerlock.
Hammerlock.
Step over toe hold.
Step over toe hold.
Then there's a Baer's bridge, a hold that took me a year and a half to perfect. That's my own. And then there's a flying mare and an airplane spin.
A what?
An airplane spin.
An airplane spin.
It isn't like an airplane spinning in the air.
What does an airplane spin look like?
Well, you sort of put a person up on your shoulders and you spin them around. And
do you want to show me?
Shall I show him?
Sadistic lot.
I'm not doing a strip.
An aeroplane spin. Now just before I have my watch repaired, listen, this intrigues me. Now, supposing, because you're a very attractive person, supposing you're
Flattery will get you everywhere. Go ahead.
Suppose you're walking along the street and someone molests you. Say someone gets fresh. Look, I'll show to me. You're walking along the street. I'm coming up behind you and I do that. What would you do?
Well, with his reputation, I really should relax and enjoy it.
I come up and I do that. What do you do? Oh, yes.
No, if I were really going to do something, though, say that you went to grab for me, say grab for me with your arm, like you're going to grab for my head or face.
Oh, yes.
Like this.
the Browns. Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown. Mr. Brown liked Mrs. Brown, golf, football, and cigarettes with a good tobacco taste. Mrs. Brown liked menthol cigarettes. It made her think of cool, clear water. Once in a while, Mrs. Brown thought she ought to get a good tobacco taste. So, she did. And once in a while, Mr. Brown liked to try one of hers, to get the refreshing taste of menthol. This turned into a regular thing. Got pretty silly, in fact. Until they both got what they wanted. Alpine gave them 2 kinds of cigarette in one. A really good smoke taste from the world's finest tobacco, with that refreshing wisp of menthol to keep the mouth fresh all day. Now they buy Alpine with the long white filter and get 2 kinds of cigarette in one. Alpine. King-size Alpine. Try them soon.
Bring them all on. We'll style them up and punch them all. Where's Harry Lister?
I tell you what, she does that. From now on, Geoff, whatever Jacklet, it's fair dinkum, mate. There's no stooging there. It's on. I'll smash your face in. Here's, I don't know, what? I'm a bit punchy. Here's Geoff Corke.
If you're a little bit faint after being thrown by a lady wrestler, the best thing to go for is the Kvassia brandy. Kvassia brandy is the finest brandy on the market, and I'll tell you why. Because Kvassia brandy is a blended brandy. It's blended with popular Australian and French brandies. 75% Australian, 25% French. The price is so reasonable too. Kvassia brandy is available at your nearest hotel or licensed grocer. Now, Kvassia brandy is blended, and it's blended, both the brandies, the French and the Australian, are made with a famous pot-stilled method. That's the finest brandy. It's all made that way. It's great brandy, there's no doubt about it. Now, at this time of the year, when you're thinking of entertaining for Christmas, why don't you have some Kvassia brandy in your home? It's ideal for long drinks, long mixed drinks, some brandy with some dry ginger, some soda, some ice, some water, dressed up whichever way you like, or a nice short brandy with a cup of coffee after dinner. No matter which way you have it, always ask for, in fact, always insist on Kvassia brandy. Kvassia brandy is priced at the same price as those ordinary brandies, so it's very reasonable. Ask for it, it's the finest. Kvassia brandy from your hotel or licensed grocer.
Thank you, Geoffrey. We'll be back in a few moments with more In Melbourne Tonight.
This is the life for you in Australia's regular army, training with the latest weapons and equipment, learning advanced technical skills in one of over 350 high-interest jobs, jobs that will benefit you in or out of the service. You receive full adult pay at 17 and every chance for promotion and still better pay. If you're young, ambitious, go ahead. Get the facts on Army life at the Recruiting Information Centre.
Look, I just had an idea, and I haven't checked with our director or anything. Do we possibly have what just happened then on videotape, Rod?
Yes, right.
We do? I wonder, the way I hit the floor, I don't believe I hit it that hard. I'm just wondering if perhaps after our next item we could just see that, because I don't believe it, and I would like to see it before it's erased. Can that be done?
Yes, right.
It can? Good, because I want to see how I got a broken back. For all time, I would like to know whatever injuries I get, I need that as proof so that we can sue later on. Beg your pardon?
You get compo.
You get compo? Yes, you do. In this place, you don't get compo. It sort of rhymes with that, but you don't get compo. We have... did we have the government, the common... We had that? Well, it must be time for Coral Deagh's Ballet, is it? Oh, it's time for the Channel 9 dancers. Carl D is responsible for the choreography for the Channel 9 dancers tonight. If you've just tuned in, dear friends, you've missed seeing me get interfered with by a lady wrestler, and I would very much like to see it again. We do have it on tape. I don't know what it'll be like. I just want to see the piece where I fell on the ground. We'll have a look at our monitors and we'll see it. I have no sound down here, chaps. There's no sound. Oh, well, let's forget it, shall we? Why would... Oh, no sound. No sound. Oh, well, that defeats all that, doesn't it? Here's Jeffrey. Hello there. Jeff, let's, we play back the wrestling thing, but there's no sound in here. What? So we couldn't hear it, you see.
Did you see it?
Yes, it looked like I hit it with a bit of a bang.
You did hit it hard. You're all right.
Very good.
You're all right.
What's that?
You're all right. You're all right.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's good. What's that?
Hey.
Hey?
Can't you hear anything?
Beg yours?
Can't you hear anything?
What was that?
Will you lend us £100?
No, I can't, Jeff. Not this week.
Look, this is a stool, Graham. A very ordinary stool.
Yes.
It's probably just like any old, ordinary kitchen stool that you'd find in your home.
Mm-hmm.
The hard-wearing, part of the house where all the hard work's done.
That's
Now,
right.
this one has taken a lot of punishment, but look what I did with it. Just before the show tonight, I dashed over it with a bit of Berger full gloss, and look at the remarkable finish. It's just looking like brand new.
Berger full gloss. Berger full gloss.
That's right. Yes, with Berger full gloss, Graham, you can do this to any room in your house or any piece of kitchen furniture, any piece of furniture at all. Graham, how much do you think that it'd cost me to repaint this still? What do you reckon?
Oh, well, say 5... Well, no, 7 and 6. 7 and 6 to paint that stool.
2 bob.
2 bob?
2 bob, because I use one of these little cans. Around about 2 bob, you see. This is the small 3-shilling can, and if you have a look inside, you'll see that there's still quite a lot left in there. So you can do probably another still with it. That's because Berger Full Gloss is a true one-coat enamel, and its opacity is quite amazing.
Yes, because white covers black.
White covers black.
We've seen that happen.
I've showed you.
So, for 2 shillings, how about that? Well, for 5 shillings, 2 of those, let's see, 6 shillings, 3 tins, you could probably do the entire kitchen furniture.
No doubt in the world about it. It's quite amazing.
Golly.
You'll truly, really and truly will be amazed. So why don't you insist on Berger Full Gloss? In fact, for 10 bob, you can do all the bits and pieces of furniture in your home. Berger Full Gloss is the only enamel on the market that gives you a money-back guarantee. Berger are so confident about it. It's the greatest, so you try it. Berger Full Gloss enamel.
Thank you, Jeff. Yes, Berger Full Gloss. Try it, or your money back if you're not completely satisfied. Berger Full Gloss.
Look at this for a test of a watch. This great watch gets its name because it's waterproof to a depth of 166 feet. It's C-Cup by Ulmer. Yes, it's the perfect gift for the outdoor man, a C-Cup watch by Ulmer, priced from only £16.10. Yes, C-Cup by Ulmer. There are plenty more watches in the big Ulmer range, and they're all made by experts in the huge Ulmer factory in Switzerland. So whether it be a present for Christmas or, in fact, an ideal gift for any special occasion, always remember watches by Ulmer of Switzerland at all good jewelers.
If too much of a good thing leaves you with that headachy, upset stomach feeling, that's when you need Alka-Seltzer. Alka-Seltzer and a glass of water and...
Ka-plunk goes the tablet that gives the fizz. Get the feel better feeling that Alka-Seltzer gives.
If too much of a good thing leaves you with upset stomach, take Alka-Seltzer before you go to bed. Alka-Seltzer for that feel better feeling.
Harry, darling.
It's no good. It's no good, Toni. We're through.
Darling.
Our marriage is finished.
Baby.
Baby. It's over. It's no good. It's no good. It's no good.
Oh.
No. We're through. Absolutely through.
Doesn't Harry Daddy love his puppy anymore?
No.
Harry.
Go home. Get out of here and go home to your mother.
I'll never do that. I'll never do that. But, darling, baby, if you want baby, I'll just be here. Just here next door. In the spare room.
It's no good. I mustn't let her weaken me. It's all over. We're through. The spare room. She's in the... No, I mustn't do that. I must be strong. I must resist temptation. I'll lock the door. Lock the door. Need her. The key. Key here. Yes. Hey.
What is it? What do you want?
Darling, there's something I want to tell you.
What?
I want to tell you something.
I can't hear anything.
Darling, open the door. I've got something to say to you.
Open the door.
Darling.
Well, I've got... just a minute.
Darling, open the door. Open the door, darling.
All right. Well, that's the wrong key. Oh. Just a minute.
Darling, there's something I've got to say.
Just a minute.
Please.
Just a minute.
Please open the door.
Yes, I've got to lock this first before I open it. There we go.
Darling, don't catch me.
Just a minute!
Open the door.
I'm coming. Darling!
Darling!
What is it?
Darling, I've come to a decision.
What is it, darling?
I'm going home to Mother. Goodbye.
Now you too can relax and enjoy Riggio multi-filter cigarettes. A far-reaching new advance in smoking with unique impregnated charcoal filters to enhance the rich, rewarding flavor of the finest American-style tobacco. Charcoal mellowed, puff by puff. Rich in taste and smooth in smoking for the man who smokes a lot and loves it. Try new Riggio multi-filters today.
I hope you'll pardon that. We borrow these tapes from Channel 7 sometimes, and they don't always work. Oh, golly. Listen, I reckon this is about the roughest 3 days as far as work is concerned. Here we all are. I'm just putting a pin. Do you ever do this, fellas, to make your tie all one thing? You ever put a pin in it? I put a pin in it. In fact, I pin it to the shirt so that it always stays in the centre, and there's no piece underneath to... It's a little television dressing trick that we learned from Savakanakis. There we are. You see, and that stays neat all the time. Then you push the little bits that stick out down there. And you're fine. Listen, if you're listening over in, where are they? Deniliquin, the band? If you're listening up there in Albury, I wonder if you would play for me Life on the Ocean Wave. Thanks, chaps. Da-dum, da-dum. Right, here we go. When sailors return from the sea, they go for Tiny Tip's tea and Charlie's with 300 cups to the pound. There's always more to go round. Good. We have it again, please. When sailors return from the sea, they go for Tiny Tip's tea with 300 cups to the pound. There's always more to go round. Congratulations, Mrs. Baxter of 24 All Wrong Crescent, Camberwell. You have won a delightful silver teapot because you sent in a jingle that won. The tune for next week's jingle is Here We Go Gathering Nuts in May. Can we hear Nuts in May? Here we go gathering nuts in May in a cold and frosty morning. If you could write a little tune to that mentioning Tiny Tips, you could win a silver teapot too. We want your entry to be in last mail on Saturday to Tiny Tips Jingle Contest, GTV Channel 9, 22 Bendigo Street, Richmond. Oh, I know something else I should tell you. In all packets of purple packet Tiny Tips tea, there are animal pictures. And when you've got a few, it's a good idea to stick them in this album, which is only 2 and 6 from your grocer or 3 shillings posted from Tuckfield's Tees, South Yarra. There's a dog. Oh, have a dog. There's a dog album too. There's a dog album too for the cards in red packet Tiny Tips.